On February 24, 1978, five friends left a college basketball game in Chico, California, and were heading back towards home. But hours later, they all vanished. Days later, when investigators found their car, it only raised even more caution. The car wasn't out of fuel, it wasn't buried in snow. There was nothing physically preventing the men from getting back inside the car and driving away. Yet, all five members of the group left the car in freezing darkness. What happened next would turn a missing person case into a decades long mystery. In the small city of Marysville, California, five close friends spent much of their free time playing basketball. Their name was Gary Mathis, Ted Weir, Bill Sterling, Jack Medrook, and Jackie Hart. Four of the five men had mild to moderate intellectual disabilities. But Gary Mathis was different. He had previously served in the military and had a history of schizophrenia. Despite their challenges, the group lived fairly independent lives and shared close friendship. On the morning of February 25, they were scheduled to compete in a tournament of their own, something they had been looking forward for weeks. After leaving the game, they got into a 1969 Mercury Montage car. After traveling some distance, they stopped at the market. From there, they bought snacks, soft drinks, and something to eat. Before beginning their journey back towards the Marysville, the clerk at the market would become last confirmed person to ever see all those five men alive. The drive from Chico to Marysville should have taken less than an hour, but the five men never made it home. 4 days later, researchers found the group's car abandoned on a remote mountain road. Instead of driving southwest towards Marysville, the group had somehow ended up nearly 70 miles away, deep in the mountain. The location alone made no sense, but what investigators found next made even less sense. The Mercury showed no obvious sign of damage or mechanical failure. There was still fuel in the car, and the men's belongings had left behind. There was no obvious reason for five men to leave the car behind and walked away. The discovery of the abandoned car immediately triggered a large search operation. Investigators, volunteers, search dogs, and even helicopters searched the mountain, hoping to find some trace of the five men. But the conditions were working against them. The mountains were covered in deep snow, and many of the narrow roads and forest trails had become difficult to reach. Day after day, investigators searched the mountain, but every lead came to a dead end. As the days turned into weeks, there were still no trace of five missing men. Eventually, with no evidence to follow, the search was called off. Then on June 4th, more than 3 months after five men disappeared, a group of motorcyclists riding through the mountain came across a remote Forest Service trailer. They noticed one of the front window has been broken. They got curious and they walked over to investigate. As soon as they opened the trailer door, they were overwhelmed by the smell of a decomposing body. The discovery was immediately reported to authorities, and when investigators arrived, it was later identified as the 32 years old Ted Weir. Ted was found lying inside a sleeping bag on one of the trailer bunks covered with several blankets. The autopsy concluded that he had died from starvation and hypothermia. But there was another detail. Inside the trailer, several military ration cans had been opened and eaten. By the time Ted died, he was severely weakened from starvation and hypothermia. It was difficult to imagine that he had been the one opening the military sea cans. This has led some investigators and researchers to believe that Gary Mathis may have been with Ted inside the trailer because Gary had served in the military and was familiar with P-38 can opener. But if Gary Mathis had been inside that trailer with Ted, where was he and what happened to him? Ted Weir discovery gave investigators their first real breakthrough in more than 3 months. Search team returned to the mountain and this time focusing on the area surrounding the trailer. During the renewed search, they recovered the remains of Jack Medrook and Bill Sterling. Both had died from the exposure. A few days later, they also find the remains of the Jack Hood. With the Jack Hood discovery, only one member of the group remained missing. Gary Mathis. Despite the renewed search, he was never found. The only trace of Gary was a pair of tennis shoes found inside the trailer believed to be his. More than 4 decades later, nobody knows what happened to Gary Mathis. The discovery of the car, the trailer, and the bodies answered some question, but they also raised even bigger question. One of the strangest pieces of investigation came from a man named Joseph. That same night, his car stuck in the snow and Joseph suffered a heart attack on the same mountain road where the Mercury would later be found. He told investigators that he had seen headlights, several people, and even a pickup truck moving through the darkness. Joseph's account is one of the many reasons this case remains so heavily debated. Over the years, several theories have been attempted to explain what happened that night. According to one theory, the group simply took a wrong turn after leaving the Shiko and continued driving in the wrong direction without realizing it. And by the time they realize it, they may have already been too far into the mountain to turn back. Eventually, they found themselves deep in unfamiliar mountain terrain. As the road became more difficult to navigate and heavy snow blocked their path, they abandoned the car and continued on foot, believing they would eventually find help. It's a simple explanation, but it leaves several important questions unanswered. If they were simply lost, why they leave behind a car that still had fuel and showed no sign of mechanical failure? Another story centers around Gary Mathis because Gary had been diagnosed with schizophrenia. Some suggest that his mental state may have influenced the group decision that night. Family members and Gary's counselor said he had been taking his medication regularly and remained stable in the months before the group disappeared. Investigator never found any evidence that Gary's mental health state play a role in the group disappearance, and at the end, none of the theories provided a complete answer. Every answer explained part of the theory, but every answer also created another question. Nearly 50 years later, investigators still don't exactly know what happened to those five men, and that's the only part of this case everyone can agree on.